Oh, Game Freak, we need to talk. We need to talk. Hey guys, no typical intro this time. I'm really upset at Game Freak, and I just got done shouting, so I had to redo this. Yeah. Sorry about using the mic again. I checked out the audio, it sounded fine. I'm gonna give it a few more tests. If anyone wants to respond and say, what's better, the camera or the mic on my phone, let me know. Yeah, I know I'm cheap. I swear I'll get something better. But anyway, let's actually get to what I want to talk about. So, Sword and Shield looks pretty awesome so far, doesn't it? Well, at least it did, until the Treehouse event, where Masuda gave away the knowledge that he wants to get rid of a few things about the franchise that people find his decision rather questionable. But let's actually talk about those. So, the first decision is Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution is essentially a Pokemon super mode. It's sort of like Digimon, because Digimon have temporary evolutions. I never really cared for these. I mean, I liked them when I first played X and Y, but ever since then, I sort of grew numb to them. There are a few I like. I like the designs of Lucario, Sceptile. I like the designs of Audino and Pidgeot. But then there are just some designs I hate, like Pinsir, Gengar. Yeah, I don't like Gengar, sorry. I don't like Mega Venusaur. I love Mega Blastoise, though. That's actually a really good one. That's probably my favorite of the Mega designs, besides Mega Lucario, because Lucario is my favorite Pokemon, fun fact. So, okay. No Mega Evolutions. Alright, disappointing, but since I'm not really a fan of the concept, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Ultimately, it's just a game mechanic. And they want to replace it with Dynamax, which in my opinion is probably better since it works for every Pokemon. Though I am really disappointed by the next removal, which is Z Crystals. This is something I really wanted them to expand upon. I really think Z Crystals were a great idea for, to give every Pokemon an edge. It was a great risk versus reward system where you had this super ultimate move, but you could only use it once per battle, and even then it wasn't broken. I'm sure there were some that were, but I still think it would have been neat if they expanded upon it in the next, couple of generations. But no, they don't want to do that. Okay, fine. We get the gimmicky Clash of the Titans Pokemon. I don't hate the idea of Dynamax, but I will admit, the removal of these two does seem a bit silly, but I understand it also takes time to program everything. So, ultimately, while I'm disappointed, I'm not offended. The third change, however. This offends me. Okay. So, Masuda... Well, not Masuda, but a couple of people... There was a Pokemon... It wasn't a direct... It wasn't the direct. It was... They announced Pokemon Home a while ago. This would be, like a mobile... or a Switch app that allows you to transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and Pokemon Bank, aka Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And probably Generation 6 as well, since they're also compatible. And also pretty much anything that's compatible with Poke Transfer and Poke Bank, okay? But okay, so Pokemon Bank, Let's Go, and Pokemon Go, and Sword and Shield are all compatible with Pokemon Home. Essentially one unified force. When I saw this, I was actually like, that is pretty awesome. Okay, yeah, it's probably going to be a $10 bill per year sort of system. Okay, there's probably going to be some stuff you can do with it. No one's really going to touch it. But at the same time, it is kind of nice to have a home for every Pokemon fan. And it would be pretty cool to have this unified thing. This plan is actually a really good idea. But then they had a really dumb decision that they had. Masuda... Okay, so Masuda in the in Pokemon Sword and Shield's Treehouse live feed, which is up on Nintendo's channel. You can probably find it all over the place. It has a lot of dislikes, and there's a very good reason for it. If you've seen the direct, you probably already know what it is. Yes, I'm talking about the decision to cut the Pokédex down. Now, I'm not one of those people that needs a national dex, but they didn't just stop at that. They decided that only Pokemon that are in Sword and Shield, in their entirety, would be allowed to be transferred over to Sword and Shield. So, say I have a Pokemon like, say, Infernape. The starter from Generation 4. I wanted to transfer my Infernape over to Pokemon Bank, and then to Pokemon Home. I obviously cannot transfer him to Pokemon Let's Go. From the image I'm showing, the arrows point to where things can be transferred to. I'm not sure if I'd be able to put him into Pokemon Go. I doubt it, personally. But I would definitely be able to transfer him to Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? I mean, it is the next main entry. No. No. You're not allowed to. Infernape is not a part of the Galar Pokédex. So therefore, you cannot have Infernape until we have a new generation, most likely the Gen 4 remakes, and then you can put Infernape in there. If he's a part of the Pokédex. What the shit? Are you fucking kidding me? This is such a dumb decision. I really hope your favorite Pokemon is a part of the Galar region, because if it's not, you can't get it. Ever. You can't transfer it over. You can't put it in the game at all. It's just stuck there in Pokemon Home. Oh, what's that? You want to transfer it back so that way you can actually do shit with it? Too bad, motherfucker. You can't do it. Go ahead, try to. We fucking dare you. It won't work. We're paying for a service that we can't even use to the fullest, at least from what we thought. I thought you would be able to use that to transfer over Pokemon from your other generations. I mean, they've had it previously. Now, some would say, oh, well, maybe they're just doing this to, add new mechanics, change up the gameplay. That's why. Okay, then why even have the option to transfer Pokemon at all? Why even bother having the feature if you're just gonna change up the gameplay to the point where it's not even the same anymore? No, I'll tell you why they're doing this. It's because they don't want to code every single Pokemon. No, Zach, go away. Go away. I apologize for that. That was my phone ringing. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The reason they want to do this is because they want to rush the game out. They want to get the game out as fast as possible. Because every Pokemon they work on is a new 3D model, an HD 3D model that they have to work on, even though the game barely looks above a 3DS title that was put into HD. But, that's besides the point. But besides that point, you're telling me that you just want to cut out, how many Pokemon for the sake of... What was Masuda's reasoning? Okay, so these are the reasons that he wants to do this. Well, there are just too many options to consider, and it would overwhelm new players. First off, no it wouldn't. New players wouldn't have played the previous games besides maybe Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So, really, they would only be using Sword and Shield Pokemon, wouldn't they? They wouldn't use the previous Pokemon from previous generations. They hadn't fucking played them. They're newcomers. The only ones that would possibly be overwhelmed are hardcore fans. But they wouldn't be, because they've played the series before. So that's flat out wrong. Second was because they want to improve the game balance for the competitive scene. Why? You've had tournament. Alright, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I actually watched a video from somebody. I'll link it in the description if I actually remember this time. I probably won't, I'm a dipshit, but point is, he said that one of the things they do was that they actually ban and limit the Pokemon. They go into rotations, sort of like a card game, where they have rotations on what cards are okay or not. Or in this case, what Pokemon are okay or not. Why not just do that? Apparently you've been doing that anyway, so why not just have Pokemon available in Sword and Shield be the only ones that are allowed in competitive battling? Is that not okay now? Apparently, yeah. Now to be fair, I don't really like that personally. I would much rather just have all of the non-legendary Pokemon and, you know, be available. But that's how they've done things forever, haven't they? So if they've done that since like Generation 5 and onwards, why stop it now? Why not give everybody the option to just have their Pokemon at least be there? They've made memories with those Pokemon. Sure, they're just pixels to some people, but come on. Like, I've spent all this time training these Pokemon from previous gens, and you're telling me I can't do shit with them? What, because they're not a part of a region? They're out of place? And because they're not balanced enough? What? If you have rotations, that doesn't mean shit. So that's stupid, and apparently, and this is the funniest one, they said that because the games have a higher graphical detail, it would be too hard to program every single Pokemon in there. First off, you have models of every single Pokemon in the 3DS titles. Can't maybe spruce up some of those? Now, some people would say, oh, well, Cody, to be fair, that's a lot of work, and you're right. You're absolutely right. No, really, you are. That is a lot of work. Here's what I would do. Delay the game. Delay it for a year. I would be perfectly fine waiting if it means everybody gets what they want. I'm sorry, but they made 3D models for every Pokemon in X and Y. Am I being a bit spoiled when I want them to do the same thing that they've been doing for fucking years now, since 2013? I don't think so. Hell, the models barely look above an HD 3DS game. No offense, I do like the art style they're going for, but I'm sorry, the models, they still look kind of 3DS-y to me. Are you seriously telling me they can't just port over all of the models? Okay, sure, some of the animations might be a bit much, but you're seriously telling me you can't just delay the game by a year? Oh, but they would miss the holiday sales. They've missed them before. We don't need a new Pokemon game every single year. I don't. I am willing to wait if it means the product is the best it can possibly be, and so developers don't have to rush out the game and nearly kill themselves to work on it Red Dead 2 style. I don't need developers to work on a new game every single... Honestly, I feel bad for the game developers that actually have to do that. They must be fucking killing themselves just working on the games. You know, it's one of the reasons why, when Nintendo actually said the reason why Animal Crossing was delayed, so that it was because the developers need time to work on the game, but we don't want to take that time away from their families and their free time and their livelihood, and we don't want to make them sick. I said, Nintendo, thank you. Thank you for giving the devs and treating them like human beings, giving the devs the time they need to work on the game without making themselves sick. It's sad that you're an exception rather than the rule. I meant every word I said. Because I feel like developers have to kill and slave away while they make barely any money from companies like Activision or EA, where they kill themselves or make themselves sick over working on video games. It takes a lot of time to make a video game. But if they have to delay it by a year to make sure every Pokemon is in the game, and to give them each of them the enough love and care to where they're polished and they work, they don't even have to change their movesets. If they're there and they work as they're supposed to, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. And if they're not balanced, patch your game. You've patched it in the past. You have had balanced patches before. Just patch the game if something doesn't work. It's just, I'm sorry, I find it a really lazy excuse. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being too spoiled, but I'm sorry, I feel like because Nintendo and Game Freak I should say, has been doing this for years, is it wrong of me to expect them to continue this? And if it really is too much, if it really, they just didn't have enough time, I really feel like it would have been best to delay it. Now, some would say, well, they can't. The game is already too far in production. First off, you can still delay the game. You don't have to delay the anime. You don't have to delay the card game. They are their own things. If they continue as normal, but the game isn't out yet, I don't really think that should be that big of a deal. Am I the only one that thinks that? Oh, but they would have to create filler after Sun and Moon. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. Just air the anime for anime fans. Have the card game continue for card game fans. And just delay the games, do what the people want, and that way both the casuals and the hardcore fans are happy. Everybody wins. You don't even have to change anything about the region or the level design. You don't even have to add megas or Z crystal. Excuse me. You don't even have to add megas or Z crystals. I just want the Pokemon. That's all I want. I want every Pokemon to be in the game. I don't need to catch every Pokemon in the game. I just want to be able to transfer my favorites over there. If I can transfer the Pokemon that I've spent my time with over to the games, I don't give a shit about the other mechanics that were lost. I don't need Z crystals. I don't need megas. I don't even need a national dex. I just want to transfer my Pokemon from my previous generations over there. That's all I want. And I would be happy. And I'm pretty sure other people would as well. I find this lazy as hell, and honestly, kind of scummy. What's really worse is that Masuda says he wants this to be the future of the series, that this is the series we're left with. That means, essentially, that if you have, say, actually, the video I watched brought this up, but a Jirachi that is in Pokemon Home, you can't transfer it back to the previous gen that it was it was transferred from. So if it was from Sun and Moon, put into Pokemon Bank, and then Home, you can't transfer it back to Bank and then back to the generation. You can't. No cross-platform generation. No cross-generation compatibility. Which is kind of stupid, but whatever. So you can't do that. Okay, well, you'll be able to transfer it to Sword and Shield, right? No. No. Nope, 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 nope. Negatory no. Not at all. So, what about the Gen 4 remakes? Nope. Generation 9? Nope. That Jirachi is gonna sit there until it dies. That will be stuck in there. A lot of people have made the joke that it's Pokemon Prison, which I found hilarious, by the way. This is just a really dumb choice that they made, so they're able to rush out the game as fast as possible. Now, to be fair, people are pissed. Very pissed. The video has, I believe, 10,000 likes and like 46,000 dislikes. So people are clearly not happy. If we do what we did for the Supersonic debacle, where they wanted to charge money for Supersonic, and they eventually made it free, I believe they are willing to delay the game and fix this, which I do believe they'll have to do. Again, it takes time to program a game. If they need to delay it in order for this to happen, I am all for it. I am 110% for it if it means the livelihoods of the people at Game Freak who are working on this game. I am 125% all for delaying the game if it means they don't have to make themselves sick doing what we want. So if you feel strongly about this, support the hashtag, support the people, come together, and bitch. Don't send them death threats, though. Please, that's not going to make us look good. But if you criticize them, I'm doing it right now, that's fine. Hell, make your own video. If we come together as a community and be respectful and say, if you do this, we're not buying it, I believe that will speak volumes. Speak with your wallets. If they don't fix this in a few months, I'm going to cancel my pre-orders. I'll do it. Because this isn't what I want. This is not what I want for the series. And I don't think I'm being spoiled when I say I just want my Pokemon to be in the new games. I'm the Seaman235, signing out. Have a good one.